Great. Been live for 29 seconds. So, all right, StreamYard. If one of my destinations isn't connected, how about you not go live before telling me that and make me reconnect the thing while I'm live? Okay, anyway, here we are. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. This song is called Night Driving. Is one of the default tracks here on StreamYard. Thank you. What a banger. Let's stop this. All right, so happy Tuesday. Today's episode is titled Stop Writing Boring LinkedIn Headlines. Tell your transformation story instead. So the deal is, most LinkedIn headlines that you see are like a grocery list of items, just kind of dry statements about what somebody does. And probably at the end, it says something like author, podcaster, dog dad, girl dad, whatever, mom of two. Okay, so what we want to do is create a headline that's more transformational, that's going to make somebody actually lean in and think, I want to hear more about this person. Something that's got a little personality. One, because it's going to get someone curious about you, and two, because it's fun. It's just fun for you too, to share your story and figure out and say something about where you've been to where you are now. It's just going to be fun for you. It's going to be fun for everyone. And it's ultimately going to help you make more sales, which is why we do any of this anyway, right? To get people paying attention to us and buying our stuff. Okay, so anyway, before I get into that, just a thought about transformation, because sharing the transformation that you're going through or that your client is going to go through is the most important sales tactic that there is out there. We need to help people visually see the journey that you're going to take them through, the journey that you're going to take them from where they're at now to where they're going to go. If you can share that journey in a way where somebody can see the movie happening in their head, that's going to be a huge reason that people are going to buy from you. One, nobody is really doing that. Everyone is talking about their program like it's a grocery list of items. Like the first thing we're going to do is create a plan. The second thing we're going to do is work on your mindset. The third thing we're going to do is implement the plan. The fourth thing that we're going to do is have some kind of maintenance system. So just talking about these pieces without actually saying what these things are going to do, which is extremely important. It just makes somebody trust the process. It makes them look at what you're doing and say, it looks like this system could work for me. I get it. I understand what's happening here. I think this could work for me too. Let me show you an example. Let me show you an example here from my own, from my own personal messaging Bible. Okay, so this is our methodology. And I'm going to show you what that transformation looks like. We want to say like what's going to be happening each step of the way and what that looks like. So for us here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different systems in our Market Messiah scaling blueprint, how we help clients get more clients and sell more of their stuff. And for each of these systems, we have something mapped out that says what the transformation looks like. So here, system 1, the strategic buyer mapping system. So we could just leave it at that and say, hey, this is going to help you. It's going to help show the exact psychographic profile of your prospects. It's going to help you understand who that prospect is. Okay, great. But what is that going to do? What's that going to look like? So here we say, after implementing this system, clients report a dramatic shift in lead quality, where they once struggled with price-sensitive prospects that needed convincing. We're now attracting decision makers who already value the expertise. They've been able to reduce their lead volume by 57% while increasing conversions. So these are the things they're actually going through. Hey, if you used to be talking to all these people who are just talking about price and they want a cheap you're just competing on price, where now you're attracting people who already value what you have. System 2, diagnostic funnel narrative. What does that mean? Who the hell knows what that means? Here's what it does. Before this system, 80%, clients report spending 80% of sales conversations explaining why, explaining their approach and why it works. But after this, you're going to have people getting on the calls with you where they already understand the premise of what's going on. So what this system does is the difference between having to explain yourself and what you do, and people coming to calls already understanding who you are and what you do. So that's what we're saying here. We're not just saying, hey, we're going to look at your funnel. We're going to say, once we do this, you know how you used to have to explain everything that you do to people once they get onto a call? Well, now once we do use this system, the funnel diagnostic narrative, we have this narrative going. Then when people start talking to you, when they get on the phone with you, onto a Zoom call with you, they already understand what you do, so you're not going to have to sell so much. So that's the idea of being visual here, helping somebody understand. Now, let's go to the LinkedIn profile idea. How to create a LinkedIn headline that gets people leaning in, shows your transformation, and is more of a hook and more interesting. So let's here look to my profile and what I've got. Okay, so mine says, so Seattle hipster turned beachside marketer for brands looking to build an ambitious community of dream clients who refer you like crazy and buy whatever you put out. Embody charisma and become your market's messiah. So this is just dripping in outcome. Now the part that is about me is about this transformation. Seattle hipster turned beachside marketer. So there's a bit of humor behind mine too, but it helps somebody get to know me a bit and be like, what does that mean? I wonder how we went from that to that. Do you live in Seattle? Well, where does he live now? He used to live in Seattle. The idea of a hipster, we can think of what that looks like. Somebody, from the Pacific Northwest, wearing black and glasses and flannel and likes vintage clothing and all that stuff. No, that's not exactly me, but that's trying to help people kind of see that. That's where I come from. And a beachside marketer. Now I'm living in Rio de Janeiro. And we have that visual of somebody sitting by the beach in their laptop, which you would never do here in Rio because you wouldn't have it for long. So, and then looking to build an ambitious community of dream clients. Again, just benefit oriented, outcome oriented. Who cares about me? How about what can I do for you? This is for someone, for a brand, for someone who has a personal brand, someone who has a brand on social, who wants to build an ambitious community of dream clients. That's what I'm helping you do. And furthermore, who refer you like crazy, buy whatever you put out. Yeah, that's pretty salesy. It's pretty markety. So what? That's what I'm going to help you do. I don't care what you think about me as far as that goes. This is what I'm going to help you do. Embody charisma. Become your market's messiah. Embody charisma. I like to help people understand how they can let out their personality, use their natural talents in their content and in their messaging to attract clients. Become your market's messiah. What the hell does that mean, being a market's messiah? Okay, so all these things are going to help pull you in. Let's show another example here. Let's go to Dave's profile. Dave is my business partner in this life, at least for now, while we're still alive. So Dave's. Oh, no, that's not it. We need to get to his personal profile. Here we go. David Stafford, finance industry dropout turned direct marketing consultant. I turn your funnels into gold mines. Fix your messaging, fix your marketing. DM me guide for my free 8-figure market messiah messaging framework guide. So it was from finance industry dropout turned direct marketing consultant. An interesting little quip of a story there. Someone who went the finance industry. We hear lots of horror stories and money stories about the finance industry. Why would somebody want to drop out of that? Was it because of the horror stories? Was it something else? Was he making a ton of money? Does he have a lot of legitimacy because of that? How much did he make? Does he actually know what he's talking about? Turn direct marketing consultant. What does finance have to do with direct marketing? How did that happen? Oh, now he's saying, I turn your funnels into gold mines. That's a nice, interesting link there. We know what those things mean. Turn your funnel. Maybe it's not a gold mine right now. It's going to turn into a gold mine. Fix your messaging, fix your marketing. Got it. 8-figure Market Messiah messaging framework. 8 figures is pretty good. That sounds interesting. All this stuff true, all telling a story. That's the kind of headline we want to have. Now let's go to a client of ours. Let's go to Tanya's. Helping high-achieving women transform burnout into breakthrough, from poverty and abuse to leader of a global movement. Award-winning author, keynote speaker, top 20 African-American interior designer in the US. Transformational story, going from this to this. Just in our minds, we're thinking, we can see this story and there's a gap. So we think, how did that happen? Maybe I can find out a bit more. Let's look at her profile. Rather than having a grocery list of different things that there's no story, or it kills the story, or it tells the entire story. But if we have from this to this, there's a gap. We create a curiosity gap, and you think, how did that happen? Helping high-achieved women transform burnout into breakthrough, from poverty and abuse to leader of a global movement. Wow, that sounds like quite an interesting story. How is that going to happen? What does Tanya have going on here? Okay, the transformation. All right, so I think you can see what I'm talking about here. The most important thing that we can do in marketing when it comes to explaining, what we do for people is to help them understand what the transformation is going to be, where they're going to get to, and what that looks like at each step of the way. What does life look like, feel like, and sound like at each step of the way? Not just we do the plan, then a mindset, and then we implement, and then we maintain. It's what does that plan look like? What is life going to look like, feel like, sound like when we create that plan? Once we work on that mindset, how are you going to start acting differently throughout your life? How are you going to start seeing the world? What are things going to start feeling like after you've worked on that mindset? What are you going to start doing in those meetings that you weren't doing before? That's the kind of stuff we need to talk about, the transformation. So I hope you got some good ideas here from the transformational headlines that we shared here too. I think that good formula is the from this to this. From Seattle hipster to beachside marketer. From finance industry dropout to direct marketing consultant. From poverty and abuse to leading a global movement. Doesn't that sound like, don't those sound like some stories you might want to hear just a little bit about compared to all the other LinkedIn headlines that are out there? I would think so. All right. Good morning, good evening, and good night.